Okay.
Clap. That was the clap. That was me clapping.
I also clap.
What do you rate my clap?
Kind of low actually.
God dang it. Okay, it's fine. What a weenie. I'm gonna turn off my camera for this. I don't want. I just got home from work. I haven't had a shower yet. I'm not putting my dang face cam on. You kidding me? Uh,
Same.
why do you actually? That's the thing. You don't use face cam at all when you stream.
I have a little bit. It depends on the game, I think. I have used it for Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire, and once every like 100 episodes or like 100 streams, I'll do it for that stream.
Okay. So why wait? Why those games are not Risk of Rain 2?
Risk of Rain 2, I feel like has there's a character that I'm controlling, and I feel like I have enough expression with the character, and there's enough things going on the screen where you don't need to see my face. Whereas
I get
with
that.
Darkest Dungeon, I'm sitting there staring at do option 1 through 4 for like 10 minutes and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Especially with Slay Aspire, if you sit there on a card selection screen for like 10 minutes,
and
it's
I'm
like,
slow.
oops.
I'm really slow. So
Oh, dude, it takes me
yeah,
like 3 hours to do a single Spire run.
yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm not that great at it. So
That game is awesome. I absolutely love Spire. But not as much as I like Risk Rain too. And I would say, like, for people who do not know, this is Races or just Race,
yep.
who is probably the best Eclipse 8 player, like one of, if not the best Eclipse 8 player. Unless they're playing double saw multi, then he's bad.
I am
like really bad.
trying my best right now.
Like really, like I cannot express this enough. Really bad at double saw multi.
I've had quite a good last couple days with it. It's been very enjoyable. Smile.
Smile. But I wanted to talk to you about Aegis because I feel like this and Nuka-Hana's opinion are like the biggest difference between 6mm and E8.
Yeah.
I feel like because Aegis and Nuka-Hana's are half of the item that they are on 6MM, which is stage 6 Mithrix Monsoon. So basically just Monsoon versus Eclipse. Like our different viewpoints. Because, like, let's take a Monster Tooth, which is in Monsoon, 8 flat healing plus additional 2%. In E8, that's 4 plus 1%.
Yeah.
Which means getting, what Aegis does, the basically double HP with max barrier, is way harder in E8. Just way harder.
Yeah.
Way harder.
To the point where, like, I mean, we'll go over it, but the point where it feels like it will do nothing almost forever.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine going to, like, stage 20 on E8, it might do something.
You can get it to start working before that, but it's hard. it's tough. You need to focus on it. I think, I mean, if we're just gonna go, I think one of the best ways to get it actually running is being like a high fire rate character, like Commando multi or something, and then just full crit with scythes or something. I think that's.
Yep.
I mean, obviously the same Monsoon, but maybe you need like 50 scythes. I'm over exaggerating, but you know what I mean. You need a lot of healing, quite a bit.
Well, the thing I wanted to bring up with that a lot of healing is that the Corpse Swim actually helps Aegis out a lot in Monsoon. But in E8, Corpse Swim is absolute garbage. The Corpse Swim is the worst thing you could ever pick up.
Right, because it gives like a negative effect to healing instead of a positive one.
Yes, so how Corpse Swim works in the regular game is that there's a pool of 8, like a pool, and all your healing goes into that pool, then it gets distributed. So basically you're going in, and then you're coming out of that pool, the healing. So what Rejuvenac does is it doubles what goes in, the pool itself, and then one comes out. So you basically get like 8 times healing or 4 times. I think it's 8 times. It's doubling twice. So yeah, it's something like, I can't remember. It's something like that. But I just got home from work, so I'm a little bit tired. But I think it's E5 is half healing.
Mm-hmm.
That halves that. It's like a negative Rejuvenac. So Corpse Swim becomes absolute garbage. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah.
But like a corpsman and like 3 med kits can get Aegis like somewhat online if you're taking hits every now and then.
Really?
Yeah, on Monsoon, like
Well,
well,
yeah.
it might not be 3 med kits, but like medkit corpsman is really really powerful on Monsoon. Like it's actually kind of gross. Uh,
I'm yeah. That I can't imagine.
yeah, exactly.
It
Like E8 is a completely different video game, which is why it's hard for me to talk about items when like Eclipse players are in my chat. Luxa, I'm talking about you.
it's it's hard because there's so many different things and there's so many different perspectives, and I just want to mention that like I feel bad when people come into my chat and they ask me about how to get better at Monsoon, and I feel like almost I try to give as basic and general advice as I can because I feel like it's so different, you know. And I
Oh yeah,
don't and I'm not that articulate when it comes to stuff like this, especially when I don't have the Monsoon experience. I pretty much beat Monsoon a couple times and then went into Eclipse, so I really haven't spent much time in it. I think the game logbook says I've only beat Monsoon like 20 or 30 times total.
really? Wow. And I assume a lot of that was for unlocks,
Yeah.
like unlocking items, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really didn't play the game much before Eclipse. Like I played it on day 1 with some friends, and then I don't know, and then the Eclipse update came out and I was like, "Oh shit, here we go." So,
Dude,
yeah.
I was so excited because I was like, "Oh my god, Ascension from Slay the Spire! It's in Risk Grade 2. That's awesome!" And then I played it and I was like, "Man, this is a completely different video game." And
That's
I
pretty
stopped
game
at like
changing.
E2, so I was like, I'm just not having fun with this."
And that's the other
And
thing, you know. Sorry, you can go on.
a thing with 6 which is say Mythrix Monsoon, which is what I play. That's where like most of my content is based around. It's not. It is easier, but it's not like Ascension levels in Slay Aspire. It's like a completely different game because some things get massively buffed and some things get massively nerfed. Like Transcendence is like I'd say like in Eclipse, it's one of the best things you could possibly get.
I
Like
think
Transcendence is so busted
I
in
think it
E8.
might be the single best item you can pick up in Eclipse, I think. I don't
Oh
think
yeah.
anything beats out on the positives of it. It's so overwhelming.
So like you completely bypass a few of the modifiers with Transcendence.
Uh
Like E5 is just whatever. Like I don't care
notably,
anymore.
notably even E1, you start out 50%
E1,
health,
yep.
right? Reduce number 3, which is fall damage. Uh Number 5, which is healing. And I'm not going to say it undoes number 8, but it does give you a large health boost, which makes it harder for you to
Yeah.
gain curse stacks for 8. A little bit. And you gain a little bit less. It's not like massive, but I mean, it affects a lot. But not only that, right? Not only does it negate like a third to half, the real power in Transcendence comes in from being able to scrap every healing item you get towards
Oh
damage and
yeah.
utility.
Transcendence is so good.
And then plus, I mean, you have the shield, which is hands down going to be a better heal than anything you would have gotten in a loop and a half or 2 loops anyway.
PSG is fantastic. Like personal
Oh, absolutely.
tuners, it's a very very good item, and that's the thing. Like, that's the cool. Also, pay no attention to my highest stat count. If I'm showing the logbook, I have all of my highest stat counts are completely messed up because of testing. Like look, like okay, races. I'm gonna send you a screenshot of my highest stat count for syringes. There you go, right there, buddy. Check that out. that
That's a
is
number.
that is integer overflow pretty much. It gets to a point where the number does not show up on your inventory, which is just funny. But the thing like it PSG is really really dang good in both E8 and 6mm because there are very few things like in 6mm you know you have OSP, where in E8 you have like you barely ever have OSP, like
You
ever.
usually don't.
So you that's not really a problem. And in 6mm there's only a few attacks that actually hit you to OSP. Like you have some of Mithrix's attacks, then you have. I think that's actually it. I think it's just Mithrix's attacks, pretty much.
I mean, there's stuff, but I mean, at the bottom line, I don't think, or I think players overestimate how much they need one shot protection
They really do.
and how much
It's
they
so
could just
bad.
rely on some other items like movement speed or something just to kind of, I don't know. I mean,
It's like
yeah. I'm biased
5.
though. I'm very biased because I never have it. So I'm like, yeah, of course you don't need it, but
Yeah, you don't need it. It's whatever. And like the thing is, I could get 5 white items to get 40% HP. Because it's
yeah,
8% of your max HP, which then goes with funny steak, goes with pearls, goes with infusion. Like it boosts off of that. But
yeah,
we're not
it's
really talking
insane.
about PSG, but we are talking about health, like how valuable HP is. And Aegis, what it does whenever it's finally online, when you have that insane amount of healing, is it gives you double HP. But it's not double HP; it's barrier. Like your number gets doubled, but things that go off of your max HP, like Bungus healing or just any percent healing in general, stuff like Nukaha's opinion, like barrier doesn't interact with anything in the video game. Like it interacts with nothing. All it interacts with are enemy attacks.
Right.
That's it. Because like Nukaha's opinion was why it's one of my favorite items in 6MM, and I know it doesn't work well in Eclipse, but you get to turn your healing into damage. And there is no way at all that you can turn barrier into damage. Unless, I guess, razor wire?
That'd be a good
You can
case
already
for
do
that.
that with health?
I mean, I there's a case for it, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like barrier just doesn't really do anything besides make you take less damage.
Right.
And when actually getting pretty much any barrier is locked behind a ton of healing, this thing kind of sucks. Like, it's either double HP or like pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
And I know that y'all mean a lot about an Aegis is basically 2 brooches, if that.
I'm sorry. I started that, and I think that a lot of people probably, I mean, if you heard about it by now, then, but
Yeah.
I ran about Aegis regularly on my stream, in kind of a joking way, but and I'll often say, just get 2 brooches, lol.
It's not that hard. Just get 2 white items.
But I mean, I have a lot of opinions on Aegis, in that I think the idea of Aegis is cool,
Oh yeah.
and I think it's a good idea, and I don't necessarily believe that maybe Aegis was balanced around having double health. I think it was supposed to be kind of maybe just have some extra, maybe, because I can never get there. And I don't know, but I think, but even to get there, to even just a little bit extra barrier is so hard. It's so hard for
It's
me, at
ridiculous.
least.
It's ridiculous,
Um,
especially in E8. Especially in E8.
and so like 99.99% of the time for when I play, 2 brooches will get me way more than anything an Aegis will do ever.
Yeah, and even in 6MM, like Aegis is either Aegis. It's really dumb because Aegis is the only red that you have to actually bring online. Everything else works from the get go, but Aegis will do basically because of how barrier decay works, being based off your max HP. Aegis will do absolutely nothing for you until you reach a certain amount of items.
Right.
Like, even on Rex, like Rex cannot have Aegis. Well, like during the time you would probably get Aegis. I think you could do it at level 1, but like it's just like he's not going to get much value out of it. If I remember correctly.
How does Aegis work with the healing fruit ability that Rex just got in the
It might
anniversary
actually
thing?
work well with that. Let's actually test that out.
It's 25%, right? And you get like
Yeah,
a
it's
random
25%.
number between like 3 and 5 fruits or something. I don't know. I'm
I
winging it.
doubt I doubt this interaction will make it better than than root. We will test it. Set underscore scene Test scene. I'll go and stream the game for you so you can watch it. There you go. Respawn. Give underscore item.
You know what? I'm gonna have a
Aegis.
prediction here. I think the fact that you can only shoot that ability once every how long might be the limiting factor. I mean, maybe if you like had him sit there for a bit and then got like a burst heal, but I don't know.
Oh no. It's like nothing.
Man, at least it gives you barrier.
Yeah, at least it does. Let's try just shooting. I mean, let me spawn Carl. Lunar G 131. And there's our boy. Hello. I mean, with just the M1, remember this is a max HP based thing. So the more HP I have, I guess, is this a max HP based thing? I forget. No, damage dealt. So yeah, like that thing's gonna. I don't like. It's so like, Aegis just it's the only red item. Whatever. Back to the original point, it's the only red item that requires you to have other items to make work. Because it doesn't go off regen. Like Rejuvenac by itself doubles your character's base regen. Everything else, I guess Clover, but even then you get 1% extra crit, which isn't a lot, but you still do.
Well, at least for me in Eclipse 8, I think there's actually a few reds that require me to have something to get them working a little bit better. Aegis is the hardest one, obviously, because
opinion, yeah.
There's opinion, Clover, I think what was the other one I was thinking of? Happy Mask. I feel
oh no.
At least for Eclipse.
This thing's getting its own. This thing's getting a rainy day discussion, definitely. Good lord, this item is so bad. Like
and then like, I mean, if we're just talking about, you know, an item or two, like Soulbound needs an equipment. LOL. I don't know. I'm getting
That's true. Someone doesn't need equipment.
I'm getting finicky on that one, but I mean, there are reds that kind of they play more off other items than do anything themselves, which is interesting.
Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
So with the design of red items, is that the game expects you to have a few items by the time you actually get a red item.
Right.
So like Soulbound, like you're most likely going to get your first red on stage 4. I wonder if someone said the math on that, like when statistically you'll get your first red if you full clear, but by then you'll probably have an equipment for Soulbound. You'll probably have a little bit of healing for Dugana's Opinion. Like even with just like one med kit, it'll still do a little bit of damage.
Of course.
With Aegis, you need like Cap Crit Harvester Scythe. Like you need a ton of healing to get it to work. Like you need a Corpse Loom. Like, you need something big to actually get this item to do anything. And then what it does is just double HP or like even a little bit more HP.
Right.
So it's not very strong, and the issue I have with it is that, and this is something that I really don't like people do that people do is like, I'll just make it a green item. I'll just make it a
I hear that
lunar.
a lot.
Like just,
I hear that a lot.
You shouldn't change an item's tier just because I know they did that with Guillotine, which Guillotine was justified. Like that being a white item was just dumb. Like because it's not the item's power is not what justifies the tier in my mind. It's the stackability. So like you notice how things like Tesla don't stack very well. Things like Head Stompers, these things stack awful. Like these things stack awfully. Like freaking Shattering Justice stacks duration,
which is so sad.
Like Hopu does not want you to get more of these. But then there are outliers like Rejuvenac, there's 57 Leaf Clover. Like these things stack like green items where they just double the effect. Like ATG Missile just doubles the effect. Aegis is one of these items where it just doubles the effect, and I feel like that's weird. because an item stackability should justify its rating in my mind. Like, there's a reason why all these common items are common, because they stack really, really dang well.
I also think that the red items change the way you play more than the other items usually.
Oh, definitely.
Just
Definitely.
the way you run about the map and kill stuff and you interact with the environment is just usually different when you have one of those reds.
Mm.
It changes the game. And I think Aegis does fit there for its idea. But
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. Red items are supposed to be game changers.
yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about them. Which, why Alien Head? Why? Uh, they're supposed to be game changing items, and Aegis, it does kind of change how you play, but not by a lot. You can take more risk when you have it up, and that's the big thing. That's why I like health ups in this game a lot. That's why I like armor in this game a lot, because you can play a lot more risky. Like, you can stand in that mushroom pool if you have a few wraps, and use your razor wire, stuff like that.
Right.
Or potion armor play is what wrap stands for. It's like you can play a lot more risky, but just changing an item's tier doesn't do anything for it. The item is still flawed. You're just
It
making it so I get more of them.
it would need to be a complete rework for the entire concept of the item to change its tier.
Yeah, it's like people talked about like Lepton Daisy or Lily. Do you know about that meme, or actually, Reyes? Do you know about that meme?
Nope.
Apparently, this is not a Daisy. This is a Lily, and Hopu Games is wrong.
Oh.
Like, just if you look up a picture of a Lily, you'll get this. If you look up a picture of a Daisy, it doesn't look like this whatsoever.
Well, it's like an alien one. Maybe they didn't know.
Yeah, yeah, it's an alien one. That's what I say. But it's like people are like, "Oh, just make Daisy a white." I'm like, "Excuse me, that is nothing but just dilute the white pool." It also
Yeah.
makes Left and Daisy broken, because you can get like 5 of them pretty easily.
It's very carefully placed where everything is in the tiers to get like good builds off of what am I trying to say? All of the tiers are good. I think there's an appropriate number of items within each tier that do what I deem to be appropriate things, and diluting a pool or changing it around would have massive implications that I don't think a lot of players understand either. Like, there's a reason in the anniversary update they didn't add any new white, green, or red items. And it was only boss items, because the game loop is so dependent on the percentages of these items and how many you get and all the good stuff. And it's really good how it is.
Imagine Risk Rain 2, but we have twice as many items. It would be. I feel like right now RNG doesn't play a huge role in your runs. Like, you can still win with like bad in quotation marks RNG.
Right.
Like, you definitely, like, you've done a lot of E8 runs. You know this. It's like you can still clutch out wins if all you get is like wax whales or something like that. Which wax whale is a good item, but like that's just an example.
It's got to be a little stubborn. Yeah.
Yeah, you can, like, people have done this game itemless a few times.
Yeah.
I forget on which characters, but like that's RNG does not play a huge role in your runs because the characters are so powerful and the game has just become a lot easier. So if your run isn't going very well, you can still win. Now, if you add twice the amount of items, like what some mods do, and some of them are just very underwhelming, or some of them just are just too hard to use, then you're going to have, like, RNG is actually going to dictate your run. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. I guess we can talk about if RNG having a factor in Risk Rain 2 runs is a good thing. But it's just, I would like a few more items, but not an insane amount. And changing the tiers, like even doing something as small as adding one more white item into the run, well then, oops, there goes my crit. Like, crit is now a lot harder to get. Focus crystal is a lot harder to get. AP run's a lot harder to get. Like, these really, really good white items are now rarer.
Right.
and that was something I worried about back in early access because Bungus on Engineer was just the talk of the town when Content Update 0 dropped. When the game released,
Still all
and
I
they
hear
kept
about.
adding. God, stationary turrets are. That's a whole different discussion on stationary turrets versus mobile turrets. Mobile turrets are just so much better in my mind. Like the stationary ones just die so quickly, even with Bungus. But like the more white items you add, the harder it is for Engie to get his Bungus.
Yeah. And I think what's important, the more white items you have, the harder it is for any character to get speed items, which I
Oh
think
yeah,
are very important. And that's probably the biggest thing that I tell new players is get speed when you see it.
I
Because
don't.
that
Oops.
yeah, that's it. Just yeah. Space gonna
I
go over the importance of it. But
Wooly said something during our conversation that we had that he hates online conversations because with the latency, it's hard to tell when you're done talking, when the other person's done talking, and that has stuck with me because that's very very true. It's so hard for me to think like, oh, he just naturally stopped talking, and now I can speak in with my point.
I
It
do a
just
lot of
no.
pauses. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm not upset. Don't worry. But I completely agree. Like I honestly think that speed might be more important than damage right now because your character just by itself does so much that it's not really a huge deal. And this is definitely character dependent because like on Huntress, you really want damage, and you kind of already have a ton of speed with Phase Blink because Phase Blink is just freaking stupid.
Right. And then we have the other end of the spectrum with loader, where
Yeah.
speed is damage,
Well, yeah.
and you have
Heavy
infinite.
and
Yeah.
multi because multi transfer mode is stupid.
Right.
That's a completely different. Why is transfer mode not a combat ability? Why does Red Whip work with it? Why?
Goes
I
in.
don't I don't get it. Transfer mode does not stop Red Whip.
I
So
do
you
have a
get
complaint. I do have a complaint.
what's up?
Loader's basic hook that doesn't do any damage takes away Red Whip.
Why? Then it would actually have a. You know what? There would be a slight argument for it if it didn't. Honestly, because you can get a Red Whip as loader and just grapple faster, which would be nice. It's a 30% boost, which is not bad.
I mean, it would be massive for damage and speed. So
Well,
I get it.
once you like when you press shift and you just hold it for a bit, Red Whip will activate, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works on loader.
I
We can
don't know
test it.
off the
Let's
top
test
of my
it.
head.
Let's test it. I'll cut some of this out. Yeah, it does. Yeah. You do get the damage boost.
I mean, if you just swing for long enough, like around a pole, it it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, it does come back, but it takes freaking forever.
Yeah. Like if I could just like run around, swing and insta, whatever, that'd be good. But we're not there yet.
That would be nice. I'd enjoy that. I think that Red Whip is bleh. It's not bad, but it's not good either.
I have found actually some use in Red Whip in the past couple weeks. I used to be an anti-Red Whipper.
An anti-whipper.
And I found that because I put speed on such a pedestal, specifically for the Mithrix fight in E8, Mithrix gets a shitload of speed.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you have a Red Whip in Mithrix, it helps a lot, actually. Everywhere else, I'm like, it's all right. Helps me loot a little bit faster, maybe. I don't know. I could take it or leave it. But for Mithrix, that's where I really see the use in it, especially for his spinning lines move, what I call pizza.
Big Spinny is the canonical name. Hopu Games themselves confirmed it, and I'm very happy that Big Spinny is the name of it. So I'm sorry, racist, but you're just wrong.
I'll die on that hill. That's fine.
I'll be the one to slay you on that hill. But yeah, so what are we even talking about? Oh yeah, okay. So adding new items to different tiers, like it makes it harder to get these items. So let's say you add more damage into the pool, it's harder for you to get speed, it's harder for you to get healing, it's harder for you to get everything else, and it makes items like Aegis worse. Like the more barrier items they add, the less of a niche Aegis will have. Like Topaz Brooch by itself, or like if Aegis was the only way to get barrier, I could see it being more lucrative. But
Agreed.
Topaz Brooch is already there. Like
That's
you
the
could just kill
problem.
something. You could just kill something and get some barrier instead of, getting a medkit proc. And
Yeah,
it's so it's upsetting. It's upsetting because this is a red item, and I honestly really love the theme of it. It's like, hey, you know that healing you're doing? What if you gain more health because of it?
I agree.
But
I
it's
I really like the idea of it. I think it's a good idea and it fits well within the game. I just feel like it's hard for Aegis and Brooch to coexist with how Aegis works at the moment.
and now we can get into, well, speaking of how it works at the moment, let's toss some ideas out for changing this item, because I have one that I like, and it's mostly just changing barrier to be a percentage of your barrier instead of your max HP, which means it'll work across normally on all characters, because like Tomo's Breach on Huntress is way better than it is on Multi or Heretic, because she just has less HP, so it's gonna decay a lot slower. Which I kind of like how it's better on some characters and worse on others, but I feel like barrier isn't one of those things where it needs to be different.
Yeah.
So percentage of max barrier I like. Because then you always have a little bit of, like, I've played with a mod that does that exact change, and you pretty much always have a little bit of barrier with that mod, which I like. I think that's cool. It's always doing at least a little bit of something. Uh, and I also think it should give you 40 armor, which is a decent amount. That's bigger than Rose Buckler, and Rose Buckler is already a 23% damage reduction, but we're talking about a red item here. Like, this is a red item, and it's a purely defensive one. I don't think it should give you any sort of aggressive, like, offensive potential, because it's a shield. Like, it's like, why does Rose Buckler, which is a shield, give you armor, but Aegis, which is a bigger shield and like a legendary shield or something? I haven't read the logbook. I should probably have done that before recording this video, but like, why does this not give you any armor?
It's too
Like, come
old.
on.
There's no stopping power. I don't know. I thought about the armor value, kind of like a first stack armor, like predatory or something. Is what you mean, right? Something like that, or you
Yeah,
just
no,
mean
I'm,
like
I'm
per stack?
well, I'm talking just like yeah, like a first stack. Like a first
Okay.
stack gives you 40. Like, not could you, no, not
Yeah.
not 40 every stack. You
No, no,
can
not 40
buy
a
an Aegis
stack, but
printer and live forever. Have
you know,
permanent power mode multi.
have just like diminishing returns and stuff. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I've thought about armor on Aegis, and I've actually thrown around the idea a little bit too. But I think if it did its job, I don't think you would need the armor. And I keep going back to that.
I feel that, yeah.
Um,
That makes maybe make the first change the barrier change, and then if Aegis is still too weak, you add the armor.
So to be clear, I just want to say I'm not a game dev. I don't design things. I play game, and that is all.
I play game,
So
I know make game.
yeah, so my ideas won't be very good, and that's why I don't worry about it too much. If an idea or something changes, I will be like, I like that or I don't. That's pretty much all it comes down to for me. But the only other idea that I've kind of had with Aegis is that have it be a separate thing other than barrier,
Ooh, that could be cool. Like its own like
like an
your Aegis shield.
like an overshield, basically.
Like a third layer. I think that would be really cool, actually, because then it would also make it different from Brooch.
Yeah, which is, in my opinion, it's one of its main problems.
Ooh, like some sort of like holy barrier.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
Um,
I'd be very much down with that.
I don't know if you would balance it at, like, I think you would have to change the way barrier works a bit if that were the case, maybe, and maybe just have the overshield work differently as well, or the holy shield, whatever, because having triple health seems really strong. So
Yeah, probably not.
so
Ooh,
just
this is a
have
cool
them
idea.
to either 50% each or 75% each max instead of double
Oh,
health, something like
I
that.
actually like that idea. Okay. what if after healing a certain amount you gain like a not really like OSP, but more just like you can take one hit and the Aegis will like the next hit you take, the Aegis will take instead. So it's like OSP, but you have to reach a certain reach a certain health cap. So like you have to heal like 100% of your max HP to get that Aegis like block. Like a guaranteed teddy bear, basically.
Um,
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I've seen that kind of thing in some other roguelikes as well. I have a feeling it might be too strong in this game, especially with how Mythrix works. If
Oh
that
yeah,
were to work that way.
Mythrix would absolutely like be destroyed by that.
If there was no final boss and stuff, I mean, I think that would be fun, but he only ever hits you once at a time, so
that is true. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird when like OSP is supposed to be a hidden mechanic, but in Monsoon at least, you always get hit down the OSP by Mythrix, and it's like you're definitely not doing Hobu. You're not doing a very good job of hiding OSP if you want it to be a hidden mechanic. Like you talk about
in their defense. In their defense, sorry, I think that the addition of all the ads into the fight, the additional enemies into the fight, the little orbs, do help with that a little bit because you will get
more
hit a little bit sometimes, or at least I do, and it does take away.
Race, I think I'm gonna retract my previous statement about you being one of the best E8 players, my guy. I'm joking. They're faster in that, but I never get hit by those guys like ever.
I mean,
they are faster.
It does happen sometimes. I'm trying to make an argument for them.
I want more ads in the Mythrix fight. That's a big thing I want. I want stuff like Gasoline and Will-O-the-Wisp to be relevant. I think what would be cool to take the Grove Tender's like Wisp attack and attach it to Mythrix. Where like maybe he'll make like a shield of ads or something like that. So Gasolines and Will-O-Wisp will actually hit him. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like a Baronade from Ocarina of Time, that boss in Jabba Jabba's belly.
No.
One of its things that it does is it makes like a jellyfish shield around it, and you can kill it. You have to kill the jellyfish to actually be able to hit them. And I think that'd be really cool to make Gasoline and Will-O-the-Wisp and Frost Relic and stuff like that actually relevant, because they're not like at all. Like Desplant, every on kill in the Mythrix fight just doesn't really do much of anything, which sucks. So I kind of want there to be more ads that it'd be cool.
There are some fringe cases where they are relevant, but 99 or 95+% of the time it's not going to be relevant. So you're right.
FMP was a band-aid. Forgive Me Please was a band-aid. They're in 1.0 they designed this boss fight and like, wait a second, on kills do nothing. Let's introduce an equipment that procs your on kills.
FMP was one of the ones I was thinking of. Yep.
I'm very certain that's how that went down. Also, I just realized this is Commando.
Yeah, it's a Commando.
The entire time this was Commando, I feel stupid. FMP is Commando. What?
It's like a voodoo doll.
How did I not notice that it was Commando?
I actually don't know.
I'm dumb. Well, whatever. I was like, oh, that's a weird suit on that doll. But yeah, it's like I don't really do much on the Mythrix fight. And speaking of not doing much on the Mythrix fight,
I will say, in its defense, Aegis defense, that most of the time it might do more for you than Broach, depending.
Most of the time,
depending on the situation, maybe for Mythrix.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about Risk Current 2 is that there are runs where Aegis will do we'll just give you'll stage 2 you'll have Aegis up and running. Like I've had runs like that where I've gotten like a Harvester Scythe, 4 Krugasses, and a Corpse Loom, and then oops, my Aegis is actually giving me 20% barrier.
Monsoon's crazy.
Monsoon is crazy. Monsoon is Monsoon versus E8. E8's very. It's challenging, but I feel like to play E8 optimally, it becomes a lot more boring because you have like if you want to play optimal E8, you always grab Transcendence every single time. Like every single time on every character you're grabbing Transcendence. On Rex, you grab Transcendence, which is just dumb.
Yeah,
Like,
well, if you want to be optimal, in my opinion, you probably just play Lunar build. That's
yep,
why I
Lunars are
fully
broken.
I stopped using Lunars a while ago
Lunars are so broken.
because I just found that exactly what you're saying, that it was boring to just go to the Lunar shop, grab the one you want, and then or re-roll for it, and then get it every
Infinitely.
time, and
Infinitely
then
roll for
yeah.
it.
So I stopped because and I don't have anything to prove or anything. It was less fun
Yeah, you
doing
just
that.
want to have fun with the video game. But
And
like
I really liked the RNG aspect of the game, and it's another discussion, but the lunar stuff, the lunar shop specifically, kind of took that away from me.
Lunars are so broken. Like they need to do something. They really do. Because I like the power of them. I think they're fun. I think Tonic is like one of the most fun things in the video game. Because like, hey, you know that character you enjoy playing? What if they were just better? Like all around better. I think Tonic's extremely fun, but the downside needs to play more of a role. I think like Transcendence, the idea of it's really sick, but in E8 especially, it's just broken. Like it.
I think the theme
I,
of them is that their downsides don't play enough of a role, in
no,
my
they don't.
opinion, in just about every single one of them.
See what I think of being. I'm just throwing an idea out there. I have just thought of this now. Like if you weren't able to really choose a lunar, like let's say you go into the bazaar and you are forced to take one of the 5 lunar items. Like you have to take one. I feel like that would be more interesting because then you couldn't just only take the ones that fit your build. Because the big thing with the bazaar is you can go in there and be like, okay, I don't want any of these, then just leave.
Right.
Like you only take stuff when you want it. So let's say you go in there and there's like 4 heresy items and then there's Transcendence, you're like, oh shoot, I have to give up something here. Like I have to give up something because I walked into the bazaar.
And I know it's really hard. It's really hard because Heretic exists, and the way
Yeah.
Heretic works, you have to get all 4 heresy items. But like the way I would have made the bazaar is made it so you can only go there. You can't choose to go there, is what I would do first.
I think that'd be cool.
And then number 2, instead of having an array of items to choose from and reroll, you have like 2 lunar buds or the bulbs, and that's it or something.
I think that'd be neat.
Make it
with that.
just make it more random. Because as it is right now, I could walk into a bazaar, get Transcendence, so I don't need healing ever again, and then get Tonic, and then like 4 gestures or something, and then
and then you don't need anything
I
else.
don't I don't need speed. I don't really need damage. I don't need healing. I don't know. So
you need absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
After that, like that's it. That's all you need, and you can even grab Hooks of Heresy for a ton of damage. You can grab Ruin for a ton of damage. Like you can also just become Heretic, who is super broken.
Yeah,
like Heretic is so. Have you seen the stats on Heretic? You definitely have, right?
Oh, I've played Heretic on E8. I've done it. It doesn't happen too often.
It's like, what is this max health? 440 plus 132 per level? Does Hopu Games not know that Hellfire Tincture exists? Like, I'm mad. And then, like, she has higher base damage than Acrid by far. Like, Acrid's the highest base damage character, before Heretic was introduced.
It does fit the theme of lunar items being absolutely busted, though.
Busted. Yeah, extremely busted. I feel like Lunars are fun, but man, I don't want the meta to be like grab Hellfire Tincture on stage 1 because Hellfire Tincture is going to melt everything in the game until you get to like stage 5. Well, actually, no, until you get to stage 6 and fight Mithrix, because Adaptive Armor will kill it. And then like on stage 4, you grab Tonic. Like that's it. That's your equipment. There's no need for anything else because Tincture is going to melt the first 3 stages, the first 4 stages, first 5 stages, and then you just grab Tonic for the Mythics fight.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need. Those are your equipments. Have fun.
Yep.
That's the meta. Like, it's so... I want it to be more random. I want it to be harder. I think what you just said was perfect. Just going in there and then, oops, there's 2 bulbs. Like 2 or 3 bulbs. It would definitely feel a lot less like a shop. I feel like you might have to add more things to it to make it feel like like a store.
I mean, like I said, I'm not a
You
game
can
designer, all right,
you
but
can make you know how sometimes you go to like convention booths and they'll have like a mystery bag.
yeah.
You can make it like that, where you can buy the mystery bag at Newt Shop and it has a lunar item in it. Like he can sell some other stuff and then just has the lunar mystery bag.
Yeah, and I am for anything to make it the meta less it just feels like command in the normal game is what it feels like to me. And I
Oh
don't
yeah,
that's why I don't like it.
it if you have because Gore, I talked to him in the Discord, and hopefully this is happening. If not, then that's fine. They'll probably figure out something else to do with it. He talked about adding a lunar coin cap of 10. Like you can only hold 10 lunar coins at a time.
That
Which
would make me a lot happier, actually. That's a
it
great
is.
idea.
Everyone is like, oh my god, that's actually sick. Because then it fixes so many things. It makes getting the bazaar every single time a lot more risky. Because if you lose, then like oops, now you have to farm a bunch more coins. You can still get Artificer by capping out your lunar coins. Uh, they'd have to change the scav reward from like 15 to something else. But I like the idea so much because then cheating will also feel more like cheating. Because if you hack in lunar coins by changing your save data or using the console, whatever, it doesn't feel like cheating because you're like, well, if I wanted to, I could just spend 5 or 6 hours as a loader on Drizzle and just farmed up these bad boys. Like it just feels like saving time. But if I am bypassing a cap by having 10,000 lunar coins, that's a huge difference. Of like being like, you can tell somebody cheated if they're above 10.
Yeah.
It makes lunars a lot more costly, which I enjoy because it takes 2 coins to get a lunar. That's 1/5 of your coins if you're at cap.
I actually think that's a lot better. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
it doesn't take away all my problems with it, but that is like the biggest step in the right direction that I've actually heard in a while.
and man, I hope it happens. I'm going to next time I see Gore in the official Discord, I'll ask him about it because I want that to happen so badly. It would
Please do.
fix so like it would make me stop playing with ephemeral coins because that's like the only game changing mod that I play with because it ephemeral coins makes it so your coins reset every run. It makes it a true roguelite or roguelike, sorry. Where like nothing carries on. Nothing carries over from your previous run. Because that's my biggest issue with lunar coins is that if I have no lunar coins, this run is at a huge disadvantage.
Which I also really like the idea of that mod as well. And that's one of the ideas that I like had too, actually. And when I first heard that mod, I was like, good. I love the idea of that.
Good. Yes.
Again, doesn't fix everything, huge step in the right direction. And I think as it like as we limit coins, better gameplay comes up from it.
Yeah, because I don't want people to just completely not play with lunars because it's a part of the game. Like
Agreed.
I've had discussions with my chat where it's like where they just say, "Well, you use lunars, so who cares?" It's like that it's not a good argument. They're part of the game. Like they're part of the video game. If you're going to discuss things like razor wire, you need to talk about Hellfire. If you're going to add more ways to get equipment cooldown, we need to talk about tonic. Like there's an like gesture. Like you can't just completely ignore this part of the game, and it makes me sad that some players are getting too good where we're just too bored of them to not use them like you. Like it sucks. It sucks that you don't get to play you don't want to play this part of the game because it's boring. Because it's just too strong. It's too powerful.
And no, it does suck. I really want to love that part of the game because it is cool for sure. It's awesome. And I love the idea of the lunar items when I first started, and but I just with the way it's set up, I can't find enjoyment in it, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I will keep playing with lunars because they're part of the video game, and I still have fun playing with them. But I
If
dread
you
the
have
day.
fun with
I
lunars,
dread.
please keep playing with them, and
I
that's like
dread
for
the
anyone.
day. I dread because people make fun of me like, oh, Striker's just running, permatonic or Hellfire Tincture again. Like, yeah, because they're fun. I dread the day that I stop having fun with them, and then I'm not going to use them anymore because the game is getting way too easy.
Yeah.
It's just upsetting, and hopefully they fix that. But yeah, of course, like if you want to play Drizzle Swarm Sacrifice Command, I'm not going to yell at you to play the game differently. Like it's a fun video game. You play it to relax after school or work. That's the purpose of the video game. I'm not going to yell at you to play it differently. It's so stupid.
Exactly.
If you want to play Essence Engineer and that's your jam, go for it. I'm not going to yell at you. I play Strides Loader. Look at me. I play Strides Loader and enjoy it. Like, come on. Have you tried Strides Loader?
No. I'm
You
not
need
gonna.
to.
Nope. Anyway,
You
like I
need
was
to.
gonna say,
You need to. Please.
I really appreciate that there are many ways to play this game, and I think
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
and there's many ways to play it. There's many opinions to be had, right? And that's why I really enjoy talking with people about it, because every day somehow I find someone has a new opinion that has been pushed towards me about the game, and it's just fun. It's fun to hear how people play it, and gives me new ideas on how to do stuff. And every day I'm still learning new things about it. So
the
that's
game
the
is
best part.
the game is too complicated to just be like, well, this is the best item. Like
Well,
for each tier, this is the best equipment. Like it's too complicated for that. I mean, like yeah, there are outliers like Tonic and Clover, but even Clover has some contention. Like, do you share the opinion that Head Stompers is better than Clover? Because I've heard that a lot. Like for E8 and 6MM, that Head Stompers is better.
I think, I mean, I'm biased, so I'm sorry. Not including Lunars, out of the things you can get out of a chest, I think the Head Stompers are the best item in the game.
Honestly, I can definitely see that because it's so freaking like the radius is insane, the damage is insane. This is 10k damage. 10k.
A lot of
Like,
people.
that's a ton.
Okay, so I used to think when I first started Eclipse, brand new to Eclipse, I was just actually getting into that kind of aspect of the game, getting really into it. I thought the headset was trash. And I think a lot of people do when they first see it. They're like, what the fuck is this? It just makes you jump high. I hate it. I don't like it. And I do a little stupid slam for no damage. What the fuck is this? What players have to understand, they have to trust me on this. Oh my god.
I thought this was a 0.5 proc coefficient. This is a 1.0. I thought the Head Stompers was a 0.5 proc coefficient.
I don't know.
And I still thought it was really good.
If you know how to use it, okay? If you know how to use the Head Stompers, it is the best item of the game. And you're going to have to trust me on that.
Also, wait, Race, did you just say you didn't know what a proc coefficient was?
No, I didn't know what the proc coefficient of Head Stompers was.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't know what the the concept of proc coefficient was, and I was about to say
that'd be impossible for
Could
how
you
long
imagine? Could you? What is proc coefficient? What is that? I honestly just end the call. Be like, okay, yeah, this is not a video I'm going to public. That'd be very silly.
But I mean, for Head Stompers, I'll tell you, I'll give you the quick
secret,
right? You need
quails.
Lean
into the mic.
You need quails and you need bands. Okay, you get 2 quails or you get 1 quail and a shitload of speed. And with any character in the video game, you run against an incline and jump. Okay, and your character is gonna go into the sky about 1,000,000 feet. And then you're going to hold E, and you're going to do 1,000,000 damage % with a band, and you're going to kill anything you touch. And that is how I wipe maps, and that is how I one-shot Mithrix. Yes, that is how I do it. It is the best item in the game, I think.
Race, do you know about the volcanic egg interaction with Head Stompers?
I recall that it's very strange, and I don't remember exactly what it is.
I'm going to send you a video from the lab discords, and shout out to Wither for doing this. New tech channel that displays pretty much any tech, like all tech in the video game, which is awesome. It's called Headstompers Redirection. For some reason, when you are in Headstompers, and you pop volcanic egg, you stay in the drop animation or like the drop state. So if let's say, oh no, I locked onto that Lesser Wisp and I really want to hit that Clay Dune Strider, you can press Q and go above that Clay Dune Strider, and oh boy, you're gonna hit him.
I'm gonna use that all the time, actually.
You're gonna use that all the time?
Oh yeah.
Rice just found his new equipment, his new favorite equipment in the video game.
Well, I use egg a lot. I think egg's pretty good.
Egg is. I had a whole rainy day discussion with Redbeardy and Charlie about egg.
I think as far as movement items go for equipments, I think egg is probably the best one because it has no
easily
horrible fucking downside.
Vase.
Like Vase kills
Vase,
me.
Chrysalis.
Vase in the past week, I have died 3 times by Vase. I go into it and it just slams me against a wall because that's how the game works. And it's just like, you got where you're going. I'm like, all right, game. And then the wings,
instead of a nice, careful ride, it just throws you.
It just slams you against the wall. And then for the wings, it's like, this is great. I'm flying. I'm having fun. I'm zooming. And then it traps you in a wing prison in the air, and it just kills you.
Slowly floats down.
And I don't know why there's not a way to disengage that. Or something.
I don't understand it. I think Milky Crystals might be the only item they balanced around E8. Because they're like, well, we don't want to kill the player with frailty.
I remember when they changed that because I died from wings before that too. Because I just fell one time. And I was like, oh.
So sad.
But I can't use it.
Like, it makes the skill cap of using Chrysalis lower because you don't have to worry about like the fall damage you'll take. And it just makes it feel so clunky to use.
And like
and you still have to do the same thing. You still have to get to the ground fast, or you're gonna be locked in that dumb like I'm going to Mary Poppins this shit animation.
If I use it during Mithrix, like in the fight of Mithrix, I will die probably because the cooldown problem is so bad.
It's real bad.
Like playing around it just is not worth the gain you get from it, usually, in my opinion. So,
yeah, like you can skip pillars with it,
and then I'll just pretend I don't have an equipment after that.
This became a lot. This is kind of what I want to do with rainy day discussion: is just start with an item, and then just talk about the video game. Because like we talked about Aegis for a good 20 minutes, and then we just started talking about the game in general, and I like that. I think that's fun. It's a good time. It's like getting bogged down of like, well, let's loop back to let's loop back to Aegis. Like I want the conversation to just be natural. I want to just have a good conversation about the video game that I love so much. It's fun.
I agree. People ask me all the time why I don't get tired of it. I'm like, I don't know. It's fun. I'm having fun.
Game good, RNG good. Like every run is different. You always have like these like you learn something new about the video game all the time. It's just a good time. You'll have these crazy runs, and you'll have runs like, oh my god, I can't believe I got out of there, and like I basically had no chest the entire time, or like no good loot the entire time.
It also, I mean, I know a lot of players get really frustrated and bogged down when they lose like a really good run, but I think also losing doesn't bother me in this game either. And I think that's part of why it's good as well, like because I feel like I'm learning every time I do it. And some games it just punishes you a lot more than what you feel like is necessary sometimes. But in this game, I lose and it's like, okay, well, I did something wrong. All right. The game didn't wrong me, and we can use that going forward, and it feels good to progress.
It's very, especially in a E8 and 6mm, like in looping, this is not exactly the case, but it's very easy to understand how you died or why you died.
Oh yeah.
which I feel like is a huge part of it. Not to mention, once you die, you can pretty much immediately jump into another run,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
I mean,
There's no like There's no like long death animation. It's not like Slay a Spire with a Niao going, "Oh, you didn't make it to the first boss, eh, buddy? Well, here's have no fun with your whale boon now." Like it doesn't feel bad when you die in this game because you just go jump right back in.
yeah, the one thing I will say about dying though is like when you go back in and you don't have any speed. Oh,
Yeah, that's. But
oh.
you also like you crave getting more speed, so you want to play more, so you can get more. You can get
Well,
back
of
to that
course,
point of
yeah.
having speed. I remember there's a Reddit post that I saw, or I saw it somewhere. Where it's like when Loader first came out, they were like, "Well, the first chest I opened when I first tried Loader was Hardlight Afterburn, and I've been chasing that high for years now." It's funny.
I
It's a
don't
good game.
I don't really go on the Reddit because I see a lot of opinions and
Reddit's not great. The
and then
Reddit's
I
not
can't
good.
do it.
The, the Reddit is 95% bad opinions and 5% Drizzle Swarm Sacrifice.
I just
And
think a lot of people are new players that go there, and I think the people who play the game a lot, I don't go there very much, but I assume from what I've seen of it that the older players just kind of like lurk, and then the newer players make posts and stuff.
yeah, but what's weird is that like that 5% of Drizzle Swarm Sacrifice runs and like fan art, which fan art deserves to get to like the front page of the subreddit. Like that's awesome. I'm glad you're doing fan art of the game. That's sick. But when I see a Swarm Sacrifice run, Drizzle Swarm Sacrifice run, like instant like melting Mythics on stage like 20, I'm like, okay, well this has like 3K upvotes, and it's the first thing I see when I open up the Reddit. Like I just, it's yeah, I get it. It's cool that you play Drizzle Swarm Sacrifice for an hour.
I mean, I don't
Swarm
know.
Sacrifice
Everyone
Command.
gets their kicks somehow. I don't
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't want to see it, but if you go for it, it's all good. I just think like for all the people like us who've played the game a lot, uh, blowing up the boss doesn't mean as much to these people, right? That's why I feel like I think they're just a lot newer players and stuff.
I think you're definitely right. It's just mostly newer players in the subreddit, which it's not bad.
Not to say that like we've gotten every combination of items in the game because that's not gonna ever happen, but
Yeah, no, there's
eventually a lot of the builds kind of meld together towards the end. So we've seen most of what we're gonna see on the Reddit, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I definitely want just more stuff to do.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that DLC because I'm not even excited for the new character. I'm excited. Well, of course, I'm excited for the new character, but I'm excited for the new final boss. I'm excited for the new
Oh, yeah.
item tier. Like, I just hope it's not like a weird lunar-esque tier where like,
Uh,
or like, I just hope it's not like a tier with 3 items in it. I hope it's like more like a Borderlands style tier where it's like there are red items. Now there's like rainbow rarity items, so like purple items that are even stronger and like even more unique. Like that's what I want.
I have a feeling, and this is just my guess, that it's going to be in another realm, like Void Fields, for example, and then you get those items there.
Ooh, that could be cool. I'd be down with that. And I just don't want it to be. And I know Hopu's going to deliver, but I just my faith has been so shaken by that console update, dude. My faith has been so shaken by that console update because like that, I made a video about announcing like, hey, they're doing a console patch, and I'm like, man, if they fix like 5 bugs, I'm gonna be so sad.
Well, it wasn't Hopu that did it, right? The
Yeah, I
console.
know it's people who fly, but it's still like
It does. It is sad to see.
it. It just feels bad. It feels so bad. And I have faith in Hopu that they're not going to do like, oh yeah, we promised a new item tier. We'll just throw like 3 items in it. Like I doubt that's going to happen, but a part of my brain's like, what if it does?
I mean, not to say that 1.0 update was not fulfilling. I like the 1.0 update, but the anniversary update really, I think, in my opinion, made the final stage what it should have been from the start.
Oh, definitely.
And I felt, unfortunately, I did feel somewhat disappointed with the concept of the stage when it first came out in 1.0. So it in that way, I did feel like it was maybe a little rushed for release, on
1.0 felt extremely rushed, I feel like.
but I didn't really see anything else that was too much that was like disappointing. Everything else they made was amazing. I love Mithrix. I love fighting them. I loved what was it, Captain that came out with it. You know,
Captain's freaking
I
awesome.
loved
I love
Eclipse.
Captain.
I loved Eclipse.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
my
I know you love
perfect
Eclipse.
game mode.
Yeah, perfect. I believe you. Don't worry.
And
Perfect game mode.
so like I think, it was so not to say that they will rush anything, but
I'm just glad they gave themselves enough time because it definitely feels like they gave themselves enough time, which is awesome.
I hope so. I'm not a game dev, so I have no
I'm glad you're saying that every 5 seconds, so we really know that you're not a game dev. But we
You
still don't
should
know what
not
you do
take
for a living.
you should not take my opinion seriously on.
But we still don't know what you do for a living, Races.
It's true. You don't.
My current theory is that you work for the government.
That's an interesting theory.
An interesting theory, he says. Yeah, that's basically it. I think that came to a very nice conclusion. I do want to say that I do still have faith in Hopu Games. I'm glad I'm. What's cool and what is definitely helping this like doubt that I'm feeling is that they're hiring a community manager, which they didn't reach out to me first to ask if I would do it. Which
Shame.
that's fine. That's cool. I didn't want that anyway, but I hope that they do their job well because they probably saw the like the console fiasco and like, hey, we really need somebody to manage this stuff. And I'm glad the team is growing. I'm glad that they're seeing problems and they're fixing them. I think that's awesome.
I am glad
And
too.
yeah, I'm very happy with Hopu Games. I'm very happy with the video game. I'm very happy that you decided to come on and talk. This was great. This was a fun time. And we need to play more Gunfire later, so you can carry me some more because I'm bad at that game, and you are not.
I'm only on Reincarnation 5, so I'm still.
I'm on 2, and I've been playing it for weeks now.
Well,
So
yeah.
like, dude, I'm so bad at Gunfire. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it now.
Okay.
That was a very fun time, Ray. So where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/races, RACES. My name is Race, and you can come by and say hello to me whenever you want. I am live every day.
Yes, he is. He's a very very good E8 player. If you want to watch somebody skip phase 1 and 3 of the Mithrix fight with Diablo as captain, watch Race. Dude, when you did that, I was so happy because I knew somebody was going to do that with Diablo, and I just haven't seen it, and you did it, and it was awesome.
It's a shame that you didn't see the actual skip for phase 3 too, but I mean
It's fine. I heard about it. So
the last time I did it, I skipped phase 1, fought phase 2, the ads, and then skipped phase 3, which also skipped phase 4. So it was just 2 Diablos, and then you're done.
incredible. Like I remember one of the first times. I can't actually remember if it's one of the first times or something. But my favorite memory of watching your stream is me. I'll put the tech on screen right now. But like me describing how to do the Captain M1 cancel, like the funny 14,400% DPS thing, and you're just doing it first try. Like I look up from typing and you're just doing it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna click that sub button now. Because like it took me forever to learn it, and you're just doing it from like never hearing about it.
I know.
So yeah, go watch Funny Races. He's incredible. He's a good video game player.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And the Risk Rent 2 Lab Discord is down below. We are working on a tech channel, which I'm very proud of. We're working on frequently asked questions, like everything. Like we have a lot more. We have a lot more channel. Like, it's way easier to access information in the Risk Rent 2 Lab Discord, which is awesome. And I also stream every once in a while, and that you can find that in the description as well. I'll make sure to link Brace's Twitch channel as well. Definitely go watch his stuff because he's awesome. All right. Anything else you want to say before I do a funny see you later gamers, whatever I say?
Remember to have fun in this game. Smile.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. And also, please, if you see head stompers in a cauldron, buy it. For the love of God, buy it.
Trust me.
Unless you already have one,
Trust
then
me.
don't buy it.
Buy it.
Maybe even just buy it, even if you already have one.
Oh.
You don't need that wax on that band you're gonna get rid of for another one. Just do it twice. Not that hard. All right. I will see you gamers later. Y'all have a good one.